The massive screen in Earth's Defense Command Center blinked red. Admiral James Walker stood motionless, his weathered hands gripping the steel railing as he watched hundreds of unknown objects appear at the edge of the solar system. 20 years of preparing for this moment, and it still felt surreal. "Sir, the objects are moving in formation," Lieutenant Reed reported from her station. "Definitely not natural phenomena." Walker nodded slowly. "How many?" "Over 300 large vessels, sir. Thousands of smaller ones. They're maintaining perfect spacing." The room fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. Humanity wasn't alone, and whoever was coming hadn't sent a small welcome party. "Activate Protocol 7, Walker ordered, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "And get me the Security Council." Within minutes, screens lit up around the command center as leaders from every major nation joined the emergency call. The Chinese premier, Russian president, American president, and European Union chairman all appeared, their faces showing the same mix of concern and determination. "Ladies and gentlemen," Walker began, "what we've prepared for is happening. We have a large fleet approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit. Their formation suggests military discipline." The American president leaned forward. "How long do we have?" "At their current speed, 4 days until they reach Mars, 6 until Earth." Walker pulled up the tactical display. "But there's something else. A single ship has broken formation and is accelerating ahead of the main fleet. Estimated arrival, 12 hours. An advanced scout," the Russian president said. "They want to talk first." Walker agreed. "Or at least show us what we're up against before making demands." "Are our defenses ready?" the Chinese premier asked. "Everything is in place," Walker confirmed. "The quantum shield grid is powered up but inactive. Our underground bases are sealed. The Luna and Mars colonies are dark. As far as they can tell, we're just another developing civilization with basic space capabilities." The EU chairman smiled slightly. "Let's keep it that way. For now." The next 11 hours were a blur of activity. Military forces worldwide went to high alert under the cover of routine exercises. Civilian satellites were repositioned to hide key installations, and in secret facilities deep underground, thousands of soldiers prepared specialized equipment that hadn't seen the light of day in decades. The alien ship arrived exactly when predicted, taking up position just beyond the moon's orbit. It was sleek, angular, and massive, nearly a kilometer long. Its hull gleamed with a metallic sheen that seemed to shift colors in the sunlight. "We're receiving a transmission," Reeve announced. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, in multiple languages." "Put it through," Walker ordered. A figure appeared on the main screen. He looked surprisingly human, except for his silvery skin and completely black eyes. He wore an ornate uniform covered in symbols that probably denoted rank. "People of Earth," the figure spoke in perfect English. "I am Commander Marcus of the Galactic Empire's First Contact Division. We have been observing your world for some time, and believe you are ready to join our great civilization. I come with an offer of membership in the largest and most advanced society in known space." Walker exchanged glances with the world leaders, still on their screens. This was following the exact pattern their xenopsychologists had predicted, the velvet glove before the iron fist. "Commander Marcus," Walker replied, "I am Admiral Walker of the United Earth Defense Force. We appreciate your offer and request time to consult with our world's leaders." Marcus smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Of course. You have 24 hours to prepare for a formal reception. I will shuttle down to your United Nations facility to begin membership proceedings. Be advised that acceptance is highly recommended. The alternative would be unfortunate for your people." The transmission cut off. Walker immediately turned to the world leaders. "You all heard the threat behind those words." The American president nodded grimly. "They're not here to make friends. They're here to add another conquest to their empire. Then let's show them why that's a bad idea." The Chinese premier said, "Activate everything." Walker pressed his palm against a biometric scanner, initiating full defense protocols. All units, this is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Across the Earth, hidden doors began to open. In the oceans, massive underwater bases powered up. On the dark side of the moon, silent factories hummed to life. And in the asteroid belt, automated defense platforms awakened from their long slumber. Humanity had been preparing for this day since they found that crashed ship in 1947. The Galactic Empire was about to learn why you should never judge a civilization by its visible technology alone. Commander Marcus sat in the United Nations Assembly Hall, his silver face showing growing irritation. The human delegates had spent 4 hours discussing the Empire's generous offer without reaching any decision. To him, this was a waste of time. Every civilization eventually joined the Empire, whether they wanted to or not. Perhaps, he said, standing up, I should demonstrate why resistance is pointless. He pressed a button on his wrist device. I've just ordered 10 of our ships to enter your atmosphere. This is standard procedure for reluctant worlds. Admiral Walker, sitting in the observer section, checked his tablet. Right on schedule. The aliens were doing exactly what the psychology team predicted, trying to scare Earth into submission with a show of force. High above New York, 10 massive Imperial ships broke through the clouds. Their engines hummed with power as they took position over the city. Similar scenes played out over London, Beijing, Moscow, and other major cities worldwide. Marcus smiled coldly. Now, about that membership agreement. The loud beeping from his wrist device interrupted him. His black eyes widened as he read the message. Impossible. Walker allowed himself a small smile. Is something wrong, Commander? Our ships, they can't get below 2,000 meters. Some kind of energy field is blocking them. Marcus stood up, his composure cracking. What is this? That would be our quantum shield grid, Walker replied calmly. We've had 75 years to study the technology from your scout ship that crashed in 1947. Reverse engineering is something humans are very good at. Marcus's silver skin paled slightly. You couldn't have. Your technology level is too primitive. We've been watching. What you wanted to see, Walker finished for him. Those satellites you've been monitoring. Movie props compared to our real tech. Those rocket launches, just for show. We learned long ago that the best defense is to make your enemies underestimate you. In orbit, the Imperial ships tried to power through the shield. Their engines glowed brighter, pushing against the invisible barrier. But Earth's quantum field simply absorbed their energy, growing stronger with each attempt. Marcus hit more buttons on his device, speaking rapidly in his native language. Walker didn't need a translation to know he was calling for help. The main Imperial fleet was still days away, but the commander was already requesting backup. You should see what else we've been hiding, Walker said, nodding to his aide. Across the solar system, hidden bases revealed themselves. The dark side of the moon split open as massive hangar doors exposed hundreds of advanced Earth ships. The surface of Mars shimmered as cloaking fields dropped, showing sprawling military installations. Even some asteroids turned out to be disguised shipyards and weapon platforms. Impossible, Marcus whispered again. The Empire's sensors would have detected. Not if you don't know what to look for, Walker explained. We've had decades to perfect our stealth technology. Every time you thought you were observing us, we were actually studying you, learning your weaknesses, preparing. The commander's wrist device beeped again. The 10 ships over Earth's cities were retreating, their engines straining against the unexpected resistance. Marcus looked around the assembly hall, suddenly aware that the human delegates were no longer acting nervous or intimidated. This changes nothing, he declared, trying to sound confident. The main fleet will arrive in days. Thousands of ships. The Empire should probably reconsider its expansion plans, Walker interrupted. Because if 10 of your ships couldn't breach our defenses, he let the implication hang in the air. Marcus stood rigid, his diplomatic mask completely gone. "You're making a mistake. Nobody defies the Empire." "Actually," Walker said, standing up, "that's exactly what we're doing. And we're not just going to defend Earth. We're going to show every world under your control that the Empire isn't invincible." As if to emphasize his point, a squadron of Earth ships decloaked around Marcus's shuttle in orbit. The message was clear. He wasn't leaving until Earth allowed it. The Empire had made a serious mistake. They thought they were adding another primitive world to their collection. Instead, they had just picked a fight with a civilization that had spent 3 generations preparing for this exact moment. And humanity was ready to show the galaxy exactly why that was a bad idea. The massive Imperial fleet arrived at Mars orbit exactly when predicted. 2,000 ships strong. They filled the space between Mars and Earth like a swarm of angry metal wasps. Their weapons powered up, creating a light show that could be seen from Earth's surface with the naked eye. In the Defense Command Center, Major Tom watched the incoming fleet on the main screen. "They're forming attack positions, Admiral." Walker nodded. "Right on schedule. Send the message." Every screen, radio, and communication device in the Imperial fleet suddenly activated. Walker's voice echoed through their ships in perfect Imperial standard. "Attention, Imperial fleet. This is Admiral James Walker of Earth. This system is closed to Imperial expansion. Turn back now." The Imperial response came quickly. 100 ships broke formation and charged toward Earth, their weapons firing. Massive energy beams struck Earth's quantum shield, lighting up the sky like a second sun. "Shield holding at 100%, Tom reported. "In fact, sir, the shields are getting stronger. They're absorbing the attack energy." Walker smiled. "Launch Operation Hornet." From hidden bases across the asteroid belt, thousands of small, angular ships emerged. Each one was barely larger than a fighter jet, but they moved with incredible speed and precision. The Imperial fleet, focused on their frontal assault on Earth, never saw them coming. The small Earth ships darted between the massive Imperial vessels, their advanced AI pilots executing maneuvers that would have killed human pilots. They fired precise shots at engine ports, weapon systems, and communication arrays. 20 Imperial ships lost power before they even realized they were under attack. "Sir," Tom called out, "Imperial fleet is redirecting 40% of their forces to deal with our attack ships." "Perfect. Time for Phase 2. Walker pressed a button on his command console. "All Luna bases, you have permission to engage." The moon's surface erupted as hidden launch bays opened. Earth's main battle fleet rose from the lunar dust, 500 ships that had been waiting years for this moment. They were smaller than Imperial vessels, but packed with technology reversed engineered from decades of studying alien craft. The Imperial fleet found itself caught in a perfect trap. Earth's quantum shields made frontal assault impossible. The swarm of AI ships was wreaking havoc on their flanks, and now a full battle fleet was hitting them from behind. "Imperial ships are switching to defensive formations," Tom reported. "They're trying to regroup." "Not going to let that happen," Walker said. "All ships, execute scatter pattern Delta. Show them why humans don't fight fair." Earth's fleet broke apart into smaller groups, each one targeting different sections of the Imperial formation. They didn't try to match the Empire's disciplined battle lines. Instead, they fought like guerrilla warriors in space, striking weak points and vanishing before the Empire could respond. The Imperial commander's voice boomed across all channels. "This is impossible. You're nothing but primitives. How dare you?" His transmission cut off as one of the AI ships severed his command ship's communications array with surgical precision. "Sir," Tom said, checking his readings, "we've disabled or destroyed 30% of their fleet. No casualties on our side thanks to the quantum shielding." Walker watched as more Imperial ships lost power or retreated from the battle. "Send them another message." Once again, his voice echoed through every Imperial ship. "This is your final warning. Earth is not some helpless world for you to conquer. We've spent generations preparing for this day. Every time you attacked another peaceful world, we were watching, learning, getting ready. Now it's time for you to learn what happens when you push humans too far. To emphasize his point, the quantum shield suddenly expanded, pushing outward like a massive bubble. It caught several Imperial ships, forcing them to retreat or be crushed against the energy barrier. The Imperial fleet finally began to pull back, their perfect formation now in shambles. They had lost more ships in this one battle than in their last 50 conquests combined. As the Empire retreated past Mars' orbit, Walker turned to his crew. "Send word to all Earth forces. Phase 1 is complete. Now we show the galaxy that humanity doesn't just defend. We liberate." The Imperial Palace on Capital World shook with General Roberts' fury. 3 days. It took those primitives just 3 days to drive back our best fleet. The general's silver skin had turned almost gray with anger as he watched the battle recordings for the 10th time. Earth's ships danced through his fleet's formation like they were playing a game, not fighting a war. "My lord," his aide said quietly, "the Emperor demands action. Earth's victory is already spreading across the Empire. 3 other worlds have begun showing signs of rebellion." Roberts straightened his uniform. "Then we'll make an example of Earth. Prepare my personal fleet. All of it." In Earth's Defense Command Center, Walker received the news with a grim smile. "How many ships?" 5,000, Major Tom reported. "The largest fleet ever assembled in Imperial history. And sir, General Roberts is leading it personally." Walker nodded. "Good. That means we got them worried." He turned to the main screen showing Earth's forces. "Send word to all commands. Operation Hornet's Nest is now active." As the Imperial fleet approached, they found the solar system seemingly empty. No defensive ships, no resistance, just empty space. Even Earth's quantum shield was gone. "They're running scared," Roberts announced to his fleet. "All ships, advance. We'll burn their cities until they learn their place." But as his fleet passed the asteroid belt, everything changed. Hundreds of asteroids suddenly revealed themselves as disguised weapon platforms. They opened fire, not at the ships, but into space around them, filling it with clouds of microscopic robots. "My lord," Roberts' sensor officer shouted, "our engines are failing. Something's eating through the metal." The nanobots, one of Earth's most closely guarded secrets, were designed to devour specific alloys used in Imperial ships. They couldn't penetrate the quantum-sealed hulls of Earth's vessels, but Imperial ships might as well have been made of paper. "Fall back," Roberts ordered. But it was too late. From behind Mars, Earth's main fleet appeared. From Neptune's orbit, a second fleet emerged. And from the sun's direction, protected by advanced heat shields, came a third. The Empire's massive fleet was surrounded. "General Roberts," Walker's voice came through on all channels. "Humanity has a message for you." The space around the Imperial fleet lit up as Earth ships launched their newest weapon, quantum disruptors. The devices didn't destroy Imperial ships. They just shut them down completely. "You see," Walker continued, "we learned something important from studying your technology. Your empire relies too much on brute force. But humans? We prefer to work smarter, not harder." Roberts watched in horror as his ships went dark one by one. Their weapons died. Their engines failed. Even their life support systems had to switch to emergency backup power. "This is impossible," Roberts whispered. "We are the Empire. We cannot be defeated by primitives." Walker finished for him. "That's your problem. You judge worlds by their visible technology. You never stop to think that maybe, just maybe, some of us might be hiding our true capabilities." The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than an hour. 4,000 Imperial ships hung powerless in space. The remaining 1,000 retreated in panic, their crews spreading the word. Earth wasn't just fighting back, they were winning. In the Defense Command Center, Major Tom looked at the sensor readings with amazement. Sir, we disabled their entire fleet without destroying a single ship. No casualties on either side. Walker nodded. That's the difference between us and them, Major. The Empire wants to destroy. We want to liberate. He turned to his communication officer. Send word to our stealth ships near Imperial worlds. Phase 2 begins now. As Earth's ships began towing the disabled Imperial vessels to secure locations, Walker recorded a new message for the Empire. Your general is now our guest. Your ships are now our property. And your days of conquering peaceful worlds are over. Earth isn't just defending itself. We're declaring war on Empire itself. The age of Imperial dominance was ending. The age of human innovation was about to begin. General Roberts stood at the window of his comfortable but secure quarters on Luna Base, watching Earth shine in the black sky. A week had passed since his defeat, and still he couldn't believe it. Behind him, Admiral Walker entered the room. Come to gloat, Roberts asked without turning around. Actually, Walker said, I came to show you something. Your Empire needs to understand what it's really facing. He placed a tablet on the table. This is a live feed from Imperial Colony World 247. Roberts finally turned and looked at the screen. His eyes widened. Earth ships were appearing out of nowhere above the colony, but they weren't attacking. Instead, they were destroying the Imperial defense satellites and broadcasting a message. Your world is now free. We're doing this on 20 worlds simultaneously, Walker explained. No casualties, no destruction. We're just removing your control. The Empire will send more ships, Roberts warned. Walker smiled. Look at the next feed. The tablet showed Imperial reinforcement fleets trying to reach their colonies, but something strange was happening. Small devices, barely larger than satellites, created massive quantum disruption fields. Imperial ships couldn't enter. They couldn't even communicate with their colonies. Project Phoenix, Walker explained. Autonomous quantum field generators. We can shut down Imperial travel and communications across entire sectors. Your Empire is about to become very, very divided. Roberts sank into a chair. How? How did you prepare all this? Because we learned from history, Walker said. Every empire in human history eventually fell because they got too big, too rigid, too proud. When we found that crashed ship in 1947, we didn't just study the technology. We studied you, your tactics, your weaknesses. And what weakness did you find? Roberts asked quietly. You forgot how to innovate, Walker replied. Your empire got so powerful that you stopped improving. Why bother when you could just overwhelm everyone with numbers? But humans, we never stop innovating. Even now, we're creating new technologies you haven't seen yet. As if to prove his point, the tablet showed another feed. Imperial ships near Colony World 185 were being swarmed by tiny drones. The drones weren't attacking. They were attaching themselves to the ship's hulls and reprogramming their systems. Another invention, Walker explained. Hackers. They're rewriting your ship controls, giving power back to crews who want to defect. And many do want to defect, General. Your empire isn't as loved as you think. Roberts watched as ship after ship switched sides, their imperial markings being replaced with a new symbol, a rising phoenix with Earth in its wings. This is the future, Walker continued. Not destruction, but transformation. Earth isn't trying to build a new empire. We're offering worlds a choice. True independence or voluntary alliance. And they're choosing freedom. The tablet showed more feeds. Imperial colonies celebrating as Earth ships arrived. Imperial crews surrendering without a fight. And most importantly, Imperial citizens finally speaking out against their rulers. Your empire made two big mistakes, Walker said. First, you thought that hiding technology meant not having it. Second, you forgot that humans are really, really good at inspiring revolutions. Roberts stared at the images for a long time. Finally, he asked, why are you showing me this? Because you're different from other Imperial leaders, Walker replied. You care about your people. You follow orders, but you don't waste lives. We think you might understand what we're really doing here. And what is that? Creating a galaxy where no empire can ever enslave another world. Where technology serves freedom instead of control. Where innovation never stops. Walker headed for the door, but paused. Think about it, General. Your people could be part of this future too. As Walker left, Roberts looked back at Earth glowing in the black sky. For the first time in his long military career, he began to wonder if losing this war might actually save his civilization. In the Defense Command Center, Major Tom reported the latest numbers: 30 Imperial worlds freed, 50 ships defected, and hundreds of colonies requesting Earth's protection. The Empire wasn't just losing a war. It was losing its power to make anyone fight for it at all. The Imperial Palace on Capital World was in chaos. Emergency alarms blared as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The Imperial Council gathered in their grand chamber, their silver faces showing fear for the first time in centuries. 50 more worlds have broken away, one counselor shouted. They're using Earth's quantum field technology. Our ships can't even reach them. The outer colonies are declaring independence, another added. They're calling themselves the free systems now. The Emperor himself sat silently on his throne, watching the crisis unfold. His empire, built over 1,000 years, was falling apart in less than a month. On Earth, Admiral Walker reviewed the latest reports with Major Tom. The holographic map showed hundreds of green dots where worlds had broken free from Imperial control. Red dots marked the shrinking Imperial territory. Sir, Tom said, General Roberts requests a meeting. He says it's urgent. Walker found Roberts in the Luna Base observation room, staring at the latest battle footage. Earth ships were now teaching other worlds how to build their own quantum shields. You've won, Roberts said simply. The Empire can't hold itself together anymore. But that's not why I asked to see you. He turned to face Walker. I'm worried about what comes next. Explain, Walker said, taking the seat. Power vacuums are dangerous. If the Empire falls too quickly, there will be chaos, civil wars, revenge attacks. Millions could die. Roberts gestured at the footage. You've shown you can break the Empire. Now show me you can prevent the aftermath. Walker nodded slowly. We've thought about this. That's why we're not destroying Imperial infrastructure. We're transforming it. He activated a wall screen showing construction projects across formerly Imperial worlds. See those? New quantum shield generators, communication networks, trading posts. We're giving worlds the tools to protect and support themselves. And the Imperial military. Those who want to leave can leave. Those who want to stay can join the new Defense League. We're not destroying the Empire's forces. We're giving them a new mission. Protecting freedom instead of controlling it. In space, the transformation was already happening. Former Imperial ships, now painted with the Phoenix symbol, patrolled trade routes protecting merchants from pirates. Earth's AI drones helped colonies build their own defense systems. The quantum network connected free worlds together, creating new alliances based on choice rather than force. On Capital World, the Emperor finally spoke. Bring me General Roberts. Within hours, Roberts stood before the Imperial Council, no longer a prisoner but a messenger. Walker had given him the freedom to return, carrying Earth's terms. The Empire has a choice, Roberts announced to the Council. Continue fighting a war you cannot win, or join the Galactic transformation. Earth doesn't want to destroy you. They want to help you change. Change into what? The Emperor demanded. Into something better, Roberts replied. A federation of free worlds. Trade partners instead of rulers. Protectors instead of conquerors. The council erupted in argument, but the Emperor raised his hand for silence. For the first time, he stood up from his throne and walked down to Roberts. Show me, he commanded. Roberts activated a hologram showing Earth's vision, A galaxy where worlds traded freely, protected each other, and shared technology openly, where the Empire's vast knowledge could be used to help worlds grow instead of controlling them. Back on Earth, Walker watched the Imperial Palace's live broadcast. The Emperor stood before his people, announcing the biggest change in Imperial history, the transition from Empire to Federation. "Sir," Major Tom reported, "we're getting responses from across the galaxy. 90% of Imperial worlds support the change. The others, they're waiting to see what happens." Walker smiled. "Then let's show them. Send the order. Begin Phase 3. It's time to prove that humanity doesn't just win wars. We build better futures." Across the galaxy, Earth ships began their new mission. Not conquest, not destruction, but transformation. The age of empires was ending. The age of freedom was beginning. 1 year after Earth's stand against the Empire, the galaxy had changed more than anyone could have imagined. The massive hall of the new Galactic Assembly on Luna Base was filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds. Some had silver skin like former Imperials, others were completely different species, but all were equals here. Admiral Walker stood at the podium, looking out at the gathered delegates. Next to him stood General Roberts, now wearing the Phoenix symbol of the Free Systems Alliance on his uniform. 1 year ago, Walker began, "We faced a choice: submit to Empire or fight for freedom. But we found a third option: transformation." He gestured to the massive window showing Earth rising over the lunar surface. "Look at what we've achieved together." The main screen displayed images from across the galaxy. Former Imperial worlds now protected by their own quantum shields. New trade routes protected by joint defense fleets. Schools where different species learned from each other. And most importantly, people living without fear. Earth's victory wasn't just about better weapons or stronger shields, Walker continued. It was about a better way of living. We proved that courage and innovation are stronger than any empire. Major Tom, now Colonel Tom, operated the display showing the latest statistics. 500 worlds in the Free Systems Alliance, 0 wars or conflicts in progress, trade up by 300%, and scientific breakthroughs happening weekly as worlds share their knowledge freely. Roberts stepped up to speak next. "A year ago, I was Earth's prisoner. Now I'm proud to be their ally. The Empire taught us to rule through fear. Earth taught us to lead through respect." In orbit above Luna Base, ships from 100 different worlds floated peacefully together. Earth vessels patrolled alongside former Imperial cruisers, all working together to protect the peace they'd built. "But our work isn't finished," Walker said. "There are still worlds suffering under other empires at the edges of known space. Still people who need help." He smiled. "That's why today we're launching Operation Phoenix Rising." The screen showed Earth's newest ships. Massive vessels built with combined Earth and Imperial technology. But these weren't warships. They were exploration and aid ships, designed to find new civilizations and offer them friendship instead of conquest. "Humanity's greatest strength was never our weapons," Walker explained. "It was our ability to imagine a better future and work to make it real. Now we share that strength with all of you." In the audience, Commander Marcus, who had once threatened Earth with Imperial might, nodded in agreement. Like many former Imperial officers, he'd learned that protecting freedom was more satisfying than enforcing control. "The Empire wanted to rule the galaxy," Walker continued. "We want to help it grow. Every world in our alliance is free to leave at any time. But they stay because we're stronger together than apart." As if to demonstrate this, the quantum shield network activated, creating a beautiful display of interconnected energy fields linking the allied worlds. What had started as Earth's defense had become the galaxy's protection. "Let the history books remember this," Walker concluded. "When humanity reached the stars, we didn't conquer. We didn't submit. We showed the galaxy a new way forward." The assembly erupted in applause. Representatives from hundreds of worlds, former enemies now friends, celebrated together. Earth had done more than win a war. They had created peace. In the Defense Command Center back on Earth, a young officer monitored the long-range sensors. "Colonel Tom, sir, we're detecting signals from beyond known space. New civilizations." Tom smiled. "Send word to the Phoenix fleet. It's time to make first contact, the right way." As the new exploration ships prepared to launch, Walker and Roberts watched from the Luna base window. The Earth still shone brilliantly against the black sky, but now it wasn't alone. The lights of 1,000 friendly worlds sparkled in the distance. "You know what the best part is?" Roberts asked. "What's that?" The Empire wanted to make history. Instead, Earth taught the galaxy how to make a future. The age of empires was over. The age of exploration and friendship had begun. And it all started because one small blue planet dared to say no to an empire.